It's me, already Dorset. On this channel, I've already spoken about the world's neglect and how we as believers should not adopt a neglectful attitude of worldliness. That's correct. However, there is another attitude that we often develop without us even knowing it. Sometimes you develop an attitude and you're not even aware of it yourself. Well, that's an attitude about explaining to you. You have this attitude of getting too much involved in a situation. Now, whether you're a therapist or a medical doctor or a nurse, in your profession, there are certain professional codes in which you need to keep a professional distance between you and your patient or you and your client. Even have it in accounting or any type of field. Why do such codes exist? They exist to protect you from ending up in unwanted or dangerous situations. Imagine you are a therapist, okay? And one of your patients is involved with a guy who's selling drugs. And she confides to you that, oh, my boyfriend, he's having a drug deal next week. I know whether this will go right or wrong. I'm a bit anxious. So you, as a therapist, you figure out quickly the reason why this patient has all these psychological issues is because she is in a toxic sexual entanglement. So you are hinting to her that maybe being with this man is not a good idea. So what? You did your job. And here's the thing, apart from your job, what you said was correct. Okay? Now, if the woman breaks up with the guy and continues to come and wants to recover, okay, that's good. But the moment you notice that this woman keeps having the same psychological issues and she slips up and reveals that she's still with the guy, at some point, you as a therapist, you have to consider, do I want to continue with this patient? Just think about it. She is with a man who breaks the law. She is informing you about the crimes. So she indirectly is incriminating you in the situation. Now, are you to blame that the boyfriend's committing a crime? No. Are you to blame that she stays with the guy and enables him a crime? No. But here's the fact. She is dropping all the tension with you. Yes, as a therapist, you get paid for it. Yes, you have to be confidential with your patient. You're not allowed to just reveal anything your patient just tells you. However, even if no police would come after you, because hey, you've been confidential with your patient. As a matter of fact, she may have been lying, even if she was with this boyfriend just to get attention, you don't know. But think about it. If this woman is seriously in this toxic sexual entanglement with a guy that's so dangerous, and she keeps coming to you, talk to you about it, or just being in your presence often, she is pulling you into her misfortune. And even if that crazy boyfriend does come after you, nor any of that, that energetic pollution she transfers is eventually going to harm you. I don't care how much you get paid to be a therapist. At some point, you realize I'm a human being too. I need to go home, be with my family, and if a patient is too polluted, that pollution won't affect me and affect my family too. Or let's say that you are a lawyer or solicitor. And you have this client of yours who pays you extra fees to help him out. Now, those extra fees can be used against you by either your client or others may say, that lawyer is assisting that criminal in committing a crime. But even though that's not the case, even though it's just your client giving you extra money as a form of thank you for helping out, it may be perceived as you being bribed. And that perception of being bribed alone can get you in trouble. That's why lawyers have codes of conduct. Some of them are even codified in laws. Why? To prevent the lawyer from ending up in a bad and unwanted situation. Now, not every profession has such legal guidelines. Some professions only have code of ethics that they hold on to. For example, anthropologists have a code of ethics agreed upon internationally on how to deal with sensitive information about our respondents. I agreed with that when I was graduating in anthropology. Why not? But understand this. Apart from professions out there, we as believers, we should have Christ-centered guidelines in our lives to prevent us from ending up in dangerous and unwanted situations. What is an unwanted situation? An unwanted situation is a situation you shouldn't even want to be in. For example, you have a neighbor, okay? And the neighbor is not bothering you, the neighbor is not harassing you, none of that. But the neighbor has this deep dislike towards someone else. And from time to time, the neighbor talks to you and keeps talking about how much they dislike the other individual. Now, hold on a minute. The neighbor is a grown man. The individual they dislike is just in the late teens. Hold on a minute. Why is this grown man in his 40s or 50s being upset with someone in the late teens? Because the individual in the late teens don't conform to what they want. I'm sorry, but that guy should not be comfortable revealing his hatred towards his teenager towards you. First of all, he shouldn't even have this hatred towards his teenager. Why is he as a grown man projecting unrest on someone else? Why does he think it's a good thing to share with other people? You shouldn't even want to be in a situation like that where someone is being, transparent and confident, revealing their topic of unrest towards you. Or let's say now that there are people who don't like you. They have issues against you. Those people shouldn't have issues against you. If they have an issue, they have to face themselves in the mirror and resolve it. The fact they insist on projecting their unrest onto you means they're willing to go further. That means they're willing to go violent towards you. Such people, okay, you cannot prevent people from disliking you. If they have unrest and they refuse to face it, they will end up projecting it onto anyone that's available, including you. So you can't prevent that from happening. But what should not happen is that people are confident and confident enough to tell you in the face they don't like you or to act out against you. When people get confident enough to tell you or to act out their dislike towards you, means the next step is they're going to violate you openly. They already violated you by projecting unrest onto you. The fact they're open about it means that the next step is to actually act out against you physically or actually action against your life. So you should even want people to be quote unquote open about how they think and feel about you if the way they think and feel about you is negative. You shouldn't want that. There are people who are saying, man, I prefer people telling to my face how bad they think about me and talk behind my back. That's dumb thinking. Nobody should be comfortable projecting their unrest onto you. Nobody should be comfortable dehumanizing you. Disliking someone, hating someone is dehumanizing them. Because the same qualities you're upset about that individual, you have similar or others around you have them too. So why do you only dump on that individual? Because you just want an outlet for your unrest. And no human being should feel comfortable turning you into a trash can for their unrest. The fact they've turned into a trash can, they're comfortable enough to express towards you in your face, means that they're willing to go further. And if they're doing it, guess what? Guaranteed, they've shared their negativity towards you with other people, and they have more people supporting them. Because if nobody supports them in their dislike of hate towards you, they wouldn't dare do it to your face. Because they know if they do it to your face and it escalates, they have people that's agreed with them. So you should even want a situation like that. So as a believer, anytime you pick up any type of psychic shock, negative psychic shock from Earth's atmosphere, you automatically should go into the reverse mode to reverse it by countering it. You should. What happens with a lot of believers is they pick up that something goes on, the intuition to pick up something's wrong, and they don't counter it. Now, you don't know what goes on, but you know something is off around you. You should counter it immediately. Let's say one day you go home, you're on your way home, and you feel quite tired and exhausted, and you feel like you're losing your balance out of the blue. You check yourself, hold on a minute, I ate enough, I slept enough, I did enough exercise, what is this? So you know that what happens to you is paranormal. You go home, you go into fasting and praying immediately. A few days later, you hear that one of your colleagues quit their job, or you hear, or you suddenly see that a lot of some people on social media blocked you. What's going on? There was contention growing against you. You picked up this growing contention. You countered immediately, and guess what? It has been shut down. And those involved in the contention, they now pick up that whatever bad situation happened to them, it's related to you, so they just move away because they want more of that. And later you hear, that individual couldn't stand you, whatever. But guess what? When you felt this um, when you felt this weird imbalance in your body and this fatigue, you had no idea that it was because there were certain people meditating negatively towards you. But you didn't have to know what exactly was going on. You knew something was off, so you countered it. That's what believers should be. By countering things instantly and immediately, you never end up in uncomfortable, bad, or unwanted situations where people just openly violate you and they're comfortable about it. People say, well, if someone treats you badly, you have to just enforce some boundaries, or you have to take legal action, press charge. Listen, they shouldn't even be comfortable doing that towards you, or they shouldn't even be comfortable even considering that towards you. The fact they felt comfortable considering that towards you means they saw an opportunity to get away with it. It means they saw you were unprotected in some area. Look, a burglar is not going with his gun to a shop with many security cameras. The burglar is not going to a shop where there are a lot of police officers coming in and out. The burglar is not going to a shop where most of the customers have guns too. The burglar will go to a shop where either there are no security cameras or most people have no guns and no skills. That's where the burglar will go. No burglar will even think about robbing a house or a shop, whether either good security cameras or where the people are trained with weapons or whatever. No, they will go to a place that's vulnerable enough for them to loot and get away. The same it is with any type of violence. Nobody should even feel comfortable thinking about violating you or projecting others onto you. The fact they felt comfortable enough to do that and to act out towards you openly shows you that the danger is far advanced already. You're too late to intervene about it. So you're coming up with boundaries and pressing charges. It's way too late. The damage already done. You picked up or something off maybe weeks or months ago. You should have countered it immediately. Listen, we really need to obey the guidelines of Heavenly Father so we don't end up in unwanted and bad situations. But too many believers, they keep ending up in bad and unwanted situations because they're not obeying the guidelines of the Heavenly Father. They're not countering anything when they feel something's off. They just brush it off or they want to be bothered by it, and before you know it, a situation blows up in their face. And now the situation is blown up in their face, now they know what to do. Either they're evicted from work, now they're unemployed, or suddenly someone pulls a gun in their face, or they hear that there's someone press charge against them. Some believers, they face sudden explosions of difficulty. But here's the issue, those explosions are not that sudden. There were warning signals ahead of time something was brewing. Why didn't they counter it? Or why didn't they call other believers counter it? And look, if you didn't pick anything up directly about your situation when others did and they didn't inform you, they're just bad. They don't inform you. Just understand, you have to counter things on time. Don't wait till far advanced. For example, let's say someone has cancer in their body. If just stage 1, just a little clump, it's good to discover right then. You think the medical doctor and say, you know what, come back in a few months when the cancer is bigger, then I'm going to actually do something about it because then actually have fierce symptoms about it. No. The medical will tell you, it's good you can now discover cancer now we can easily remove it without much collateral damage to your body. If the cancer spread all over your body, it's going to be very difficult to get rid of the cancer now. See what I mean? What similar is with violence. When violence is brewing, that's the moment you should shut it down, or that's the moment you should counter it. You don't wait until violence is spread all over the place like a viral infection, and now you're going to start thinking, oh, how do we counter this? What do we do about it? Or we're not going to worry about it. You shouldn't even have to worry about it if you just want to counter it on time. So, learn to counter violence on time. By doing that, you don't end up too involved in a bad situation. And look, go back to the example I gave in the beginning of this therapist having this client or this patient who continuously stays in a toxic sexual entanglement. One way to counter violence from harming you, or maybe other people also, is to walk away from a situation that's getting worse. If a situation is getting worse and worse, and you pick up it's getting worse, leave the situation. By leaving the situation, you've countered you being affected by it. If you see the situation is getting worse and worse, but you don't leave the situation, you now become part of the same situation is getting worse, and it's going to be on you when it blows up in your face. There are criminals who understand this. Some criminals fake their death, or some criminals just disappear. Let me tell you, not all criminals are like that. If the criminals were quite out of their mind and slow, unfortunately. They shouldn't be that way. No human being should be that way. You get me? I don't say unfortunately because it's important doing crime. I'm saying they should be clever and intelligent. But some criminals, like many common people, they're slow. But there are criminals out there. When they pick up that people are coming after them, even if they never saw a police car walking by, even if they never got a court papers appeared for court, when a criminal is aware they're doing criminal stuff. They're aware that if people find out, they'll go to prison or they get a criminal record, whatever. So there are criminals out there. The moment they pick up that someone is after them, it can be the police. It can also be other criminals. They wanna kidnap them, torture them, whatever. Because criminals do that such things with one another out there. The moment a criminal picks up there's danger towards him or towards her, they will leave their hometown. They will leave the place they have to come to. They will disappear. And then months later, you find out the police is looking for them to talk to them. Maybe they're not around, they immigrate already. Or you may hear that some people in the streets are looking for a guy called Jack because now you hear that Jack so-called stole their drugs. Where's the problem? Jack has moved away a long time ago, started new life somewhere else. Such criminals are intelligent and wise. How come it's criminals being so wise and not all of us? You cannot see nor pick up that situation is getting worse and you just stay there. Let's say in your neighborhood, you have this wife, okay? And you see that the wife's often away from home, and you even see the wife with another man in the city, kissing, hugging, all of that, while she has a husband at home and children. Now, a lot of people would think, you know what, it's none of my business, not my concern, it's their marriage, I don't want to be involved. I understand you don't want to be part of drama, but hold on a minute. This woman is violating her community, which includes you, by doing this. That situation of her cheating can explode. She can end up pregnant by the other guy, or the other guy can end up being so jealous, begins to stalk her, or the husband may lose his mind and attack her. I mean, it can go wrong completely. When it goes wrong, who is going to experience the effect of going wrong? The community, including you. So she doesn't care how she affects other people. She's harming both herself, her family, and her community just by chasing this fleeting sex. That's what she's doing. She has a cheap, debased attitude at the expense of the community. They should not be tolerated. I'm not telling you to take pictures and show the husband in person. In case the husband is unstable, he may take it out on you. Then you have more issues. But you can take pictures secretly and anonymously email it towards him with a anonymous email address, or you can put it in the post it towards him anonymously, whatever. Or if you talk to him, you can ask him, your wife has been away from home often. Is she overworking that much? Just let him know that something is off. I mean, you do something about it. If you hint it to the community or to the husband directly, something's off, or if you're able to confront the woman directly in person, and she just brushed off, when you've done your part. By the way, confronting the woman cheating isn't always a good idea, but you understand what I mean. If you did what you could to calm the situation, but you notice that the people around you in the community don't take it seriously, or people just brush it off, guess what? At some point, that cheating thing is going to explode in the community, harm is going to happen. What do? It's better for you to start thinking about leaving the community. Because if things go wrong and an actual fatal crime happens, the name of the community will go down. And if you live in that community, your reputation will go down too. So in that case, if you know this community is putting up with a cheating wife or a cheating husband, then you also know the community is willing to put up with any bad situation. That means you can't trust those people. That husband is being cheated upon. He's being abused by his wife. But the community allows her to continue to cheat on him. So the community has always violated the husband. So if the community is okay violating this man who's contributing to the community by going to work, paying taxes, all of that, that means they're willing to violate you too. It comes down to it. That means they will allow bad things to happen to you too. Are you going to stay in that community like nothing happened? No. You face the fact this is how these people are. I need to get out of here. Or I need to keep my safe distance from them emotionally and physically. We have to learn to counter violence ahead of time. That also includes when we see the situation getting worse, we step away from the situation. Alright? Was it for now? Keep on with Christ and be at peace.